this is the Provoked Prawn, and are you thinking about the different ways that you could use two microphones to deliver a better sound quality or interesting highlight to your video or audio capture experience? Then this might be the video for you. When using the Rodecaster Pro 2 and setting it up, it dawned on me that I could potentially use two Rode Podmics to create a really interesting soundscape in my videos. So you can see here that I've set up two Rode Podmics on two Rode PSA 1 Plus boom arms in close proximity to a mouse. Now I'm picking up the sounds from that mouse in some interesting ways. What I've essentially done is plugged both microphones into the Rodecaster Pro 2. I've set the mic on the left, I've panned it to the left channel, and the mic on the right is panned to the right channel. I then have a stereo mix being recorded onto the Rodecaster Pro 2 that then captures the audio basically on the two different directions of where you put the microphone. Panning the audio onto overside, so obviously you'd be able to hear the audio passing from one side to the other, creating a pretty interesting soundscape and a really nice setup. And this is really easy to do, assuming that you have two microphones. It isn't a cheap option. The Rodecaster Pro 2 is far from cheap, but it is fantastic for a number of different reasons that I went to in the review and various other feature videos that I'm going to do. But basically you can just plug two microphones in there. It also has a really straightforward setup process that allows you to basically select the microphone you're using, and it will automatically apply various noise cancellation and adjustment settings to make the sound fantastic. And then you can choose to do clever things to add processing to those microphones. In my case, I'm using the advanced processing and basically panning one mic to the left and one mic to the right. What I actually realized is the noise gate settings would also potentially be a problem, so I turned them off. And you will hear some tests of how this went a bit later on, and I'm thinking about using it in the future. But because I happen to have two Rode Podmics, because I've already purchased one, and then Rode sent me a second one, I thought this would be an interesting experiment to see how I got on, how easy it was to do, and whether I could viably use it for ASMR style channel videos. So I do have an ASMR channel, which essentially I use for just peaceful unboxings without any commentary. And I wanted to see if it would be possible to create an interesting sound that people would enjoy here. So let me know what you think of this. But the process for it is really straightforward and simple, because basically you plug the mics in, you set them up, you position them where you want to, and then you just press the record button. Now, the way I've done this, as you'll see later on, is essentially to use an SD card built into the Rodecaster Pro 2, pop that in there, and then I press the record button, and then I use a clap to announce that I'm doing it on both the recording and on my video clip, because obviously I have a microphone on top of my camera. I'm using that mic clap to then line up the shots within DaVinci Resolve when I'm editing them, and then to basically line up the sound so it ends up resulting in a really nice sound. So as you can see, a fairly straightforward setup. Does mean that I have multiple audio tracks to deal with, but it makes it a lot easier. The interesting thing about the way that the Rodecaster Pro 2 works as well is the recording process. You can set it to record in multi-channel, so it'll record all the different channels, and it will also churn out a WAV file for each of those channels. You can have one which is a stereo mix, but then you can also get an individual track for each of the channels. So you get one for each microphone, for example, one for the left mic, one for the right mic, and then also for any other channels that you pull in. So if you put four microphones in here in different positions, you could theoretically make multi-channel tracks and create some interesting sound. But now I'm just going to stop talking for a second and let you experience what the setup's like and the end result of it. This initial shot was the first one that I did where I'd actually realised that I had the processing on. So this has the noise gate and compressor settings turned on, and I realised that this was actually not going to be the ideal situation. So what I did was I went into the Rodecaster Pro 2, I tweaked that, turned all those off, and the only processing that I have turned on now for this mouse shot is the panning, so you can hear the sound of it panning across from one side to the other. pretty happy with how the results of that worked, how it turned out. Let me know in the comments what you think, but a fairly straightforward way of setting it up and a really nice end result. Pretty interesting, pretty fun, and I might well be using this in future. One interesting use for the Rodecaster Pro too that you might not have thought of. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks very much for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, hilarious, or otherwise. Take a look at these other videos that I think you might find interesting as well. And have a look at the description for links and other information you might find useful. Click that join button to see the benefits of being a member of my YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a great life.